This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have a modern Bosch dishwasher that won't drain. It's pretty easy to fix these. You just have to check a couple things. So we open up the basket, we look in there and we see that the water level is normal. It's up to the top of the round filter ring, but it's cloudy, dirty water that didn't drain. So I'm reaching in there to see if I can feel anything blocking it, but it seems good. So I'm going to turn it off, turn off the power, turn it back on, and I'll press start and then close it. And I'm taking off this air gap over here by the kitchen faucet, and I'm spinning off the top, and I start to hear that the water is draining, that it is moving. When I take off the cap, I can see water kind of shooting out, so I know that there is good movement, that the pump is working, and that whatever obstruction was there seems to be clear. So I'm going to press the start button for 3 to 4 seconds until I get the 001 on the display, and that activates the drain and also resets the computer. We get rid of any kind of errors. So if you have a no drain situation, that's a good thing to try. And I can hear it moving. I can hear the water moving around, so I think the drain is probably okay. I'm looking in here and I can see water shooting out at the garbage disposal, so I can see the volume of water is good and it seems to be working properly. A couple things you could look at though, if it isn't draining at this point, there's a couple things you can check. Just put the filter back in and the spray arm back on. Just going to do a couple more tests here. So you can spin off that top, and then you can look in there and see if there's any obstruction. I did end up finding there was something caught in there that we'll talk about here next. They call it the air gap. But if it ever doesn't drain, there's a couple things you could try. One is to lift that up and we unscrew this thing. And sometimes things get caught right here. So there's something in there. Like sometimes it's a fish bone.
Okay, so there
that was just that was part of a plastic fork. And then it kind of, other things get trapped. But then if we make this thing drain, I already got all the water out already, but let's see if we can make it drain. Then some more stuff will come out. And it's okay to remove that top.
While it drains?
Yeah. You'll see a spout of water shoot up. This is all really watertight. It won't hurt anything. But I think that's all it was, is this little thing broke off at some point from a plastic fork and it worked its way up, and then when it gets to the top here it gets stuck, and the water is supposed to make a U-turn and go down. But since it was stuck, things kind of collected around it. Let me start the cycle.
So that was, and then that was it.
Yeah. There's a couple things. If it ever acts weird, here's the best thing to do. Let me let the cycle start here for a second. This model always takes a second to get going.
And so you just start it from the beginning again? And then let it go? Yeah,
I think if you come upon it and you're like, man, this thing did not drain, I would try this. See, right now it says 209. It's ready to do the normal cycle. We'll hold this thing for about 5 seconds, and this display will change to 001. Let's do that. There we go. And that means it reset the computer. When I close it, it should do a drain cycle now. Let's see what happens. I think I got all the water out already though. Yeah, there we go. Okay. See that column of water is about 3 inches high? That's good. That means that it got all the crud out, and also the pump is doing its job, and the pump is strong.
Okay.
So that's correct. Let's stop it so it doesn't make a mess. So
wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that fun? And if you do that and you just put this back on, you should be done. I'll show you one other thing though you can do, another step with this model. It's pretty easy. If it still notice that it isn't going, you do exactly what you do. You pull that up, twist that one, pull that off, and there's a there's a little white piece of plastic right where my finger's pointing, right here, and there's a tab on it, and you push the tab away from you. Let me do that.
Okay.
and the little drain cover will come off. Pull this thing out.
Okay.
And then below this is a little wheel, an impeller that spins. It's connected to the drain. And you can feel in there and you can make sure that that impeller can move readily.
Okay, because if not, something might be stuck in
Yeah, it could be a little bit of glass, and then that's easy. You can just reach in there with maybe a pair of tweezers.
Yeah.
I even stick my head in here,
Okay, wow.
and I have a strong flashlight, and I pull it out. Like your impeller's spinning really good, so there's nothing stopping it.
Okay.
So then to get this thing back in, kind of push it down into the bottom, and then we push this in, and this little piece of plastic goes into the wall and locks it.
Okay, got it.
If we don't lock it, though, it's bad because this thing will move away and it can't create enough pressure, so it's important that we lock it in. Let's see if I can do it. Sometimes I cheat and I'll put my head in there so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, I felt like it went in. Yeah, I got it in and I heard it go click. It locked in, so we're good. So this, another important thing is that these two arrows, you know this when you put this back, that they do line up, and that means this thing's locked, right? But sometimes when we clean it, maybe that step gets left out, and then this thing floats, and then weird stuff gets pulled into the drain, and we get something strange like that.
Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance.